Botched executions, the death of Christopher Newton. After initially being imprisoned for burglary and assault, 120 kilo Christopher Newton was placed with a new cellmate, Jason Brewer, after claiming that he was being threatened by other prisoners. Newton was more than double the size of his new cellmate. In 2001, 30 days after the move, the two men had a fight over a game of chess, and Newton brutally attacked his cellmate. He slammed the man's head into the floor, stomped on his throat, tore the man's prison jumpsuit and used it to strangle him. As his victim lay bleeding in their shared cell, Newton took some of his blood and drank it. Jason Brewer lingered for 11 hours before succumbing to his injuries. Newton was found guilty of Brewer's murder and was sentenced to death. On May 24, 2007, Newton was to be executed after waiving all rights of appeal. Newton's last meal consisted of steak, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, feta cheese, a soft drink, cake and watermelon. At 10:03, the execution team began to work on Newton in the medical office adjacent to the death chamber. At 10:10, unable to find a good vein in the bend of either arm, the team began looking along the entirety of both of Newton's limbs as well as his right leg. At 10:27, an IV was inserted into the left arm and a search still continued for a vein in his right. At 10:56, the team admit that the man's size is making it difficult to find a vein. At 10:58, the team left the room to discuss their next plan. At 11:05, Newton was taken from the medical room and given a bathroom break. At 11:28, the IV was inserted into the right arm. They could now commence. At 11:33, Newton was taken into the death chamber. At 11:36, Newton was strapped to the gurney and asked for his final statement. He said, "Yes boy, I could sure use a beef stew and a chicken bone." At 11:37, the lethal drugs were commenced while Newton laughed. At 11:39, Newton closed his eyes. At 11:40, Newton's belly heaved, his face twitched and his body convulsed mildly. At 11:45, all movements ceased. At 11:53, Newton was declared dead. Though Newton's death was considered botched, as it took over an hour to find a vein and administer the drugs, it was still far less than the 11 hours it took his victim to die in agony following the brutal assault by Newton.